Hello, we've got another exciting DIY today. We are doing a built-in media wall unit, IKEA hack style, and we're kind of just like freeballing it because we haven't really come up with a proper plan yet. We're going to just kind of take each bit as it comes, but hope that you're down for the ride. So this is the end of the room that we're tackling. This actually used to be part of our main living room, which we built this stud wall, so this never existed before, and there was a wall here. So now this is actually part of our living dining room and kitchen. So you can see our dining area and our kitchen that we newly installed. So if you want to watch those makeovers, make sure to check out my other video. But this is what we're doing. We have got some of the IKEA Metod cabinets. They're 60 by 60 by 60. These are the fridge freezer cabinets. So they do actually have, you can see the little gaps at the bottom, which I'm going to cover up just so nothing falls through them, but they were the perfect size to get 4 across in this awkward space. The width of this is 270, the height is about 230, and just up until where the window is, we've got a gap that's about 70 centimeters. So these were the only things I could find. I searched high and low, and unless we wanted to do a bespoke build, which I was not going to be doing, thank you very much, not with this little diva only 8 weeks from making her appearance to the world, we didn't want to do anything bespoke, anything that we had to cut down too much MDF. So we found these, and I think they're going to work. The first issue is I was hoping, because I bought the feet from IKEA and they're adjustable because they're kitchen cabinets. They're adjustable, so I hoped that they would go higher than the skirting that we've got on the sides, but unfortunately they fall short by like 2 centimeters. So we're going to go to the garage, find some spare wood, create some bases just to lift all of them off the ground a little bit more, and then we can adjust everything and make sure that we've got it all in place ready, and then we can secure them together and to the walls. So yeah, let's go and find some spare wood and get it all cut. We've got some supplies. We've got all the wood that we need to build the lower half of the unit, and I also picked up some extras. We've got grab adhesive so that we can stick things like the skirting board and wood if we need to in like weird places. Also, so these units are all from IKEA, however I'm going to be painting them in the colour broccoli brown. So this is a farrow and ball colour, but I've had it made up in the Valspar Premium Multi-Surface and Furniture Paint in Dead Matte in the colour broccoli brown. So if you don't know, you can get this done at B&Q, any colour pretty much in the world that you want. They will make it up at Valspar. It's usually really close. Sometimes it's not quite exact. So first saw this on a girl called Jessica. I want to say her name's Jessica Hayhurst Home, and she did a built-in unit and painted it this colour. It looks so good. So I've basically copied her, so thanks Jessica. But before we get to that point, IKEA furniture, I have painted before some wardrobe doors. The only thing that I recommend is sand scuffing it a little bit, cleaning it with sugar soap, then going in with a primer before you paint. But the primer of choice is always going to be Zinsser Bin, especially when it comes to IKEA furniture. It is so easy. You don't actually have to do a lot of prep work. If you wanted to just go in with a primer and then in with the paint, it would last a pretty long time. We have got some knotting solution and some wood filler. So for the IKEA units, you can see them here, they come with excessive amounts of holes because you can move the shelves and cabinets up how you want them. So we're gonna go in with some filler, let that dry, sand it down, and then knotting solution. I've never used this before. This is from Colron. If you are painting just wood, which is what we've got, we've just got some plain smooth wood from B&Q, which is gonna be on show. It has got knots all through it, so if you use the knotting solution on it, it says that it seals the knots, and it comes with a little brush. You just brush it on all of the knots, I guess, and then you can paint over the top and it makes it smooth rather than seeing the little furry knotty outline. you know. We ended up getting the cabinet spaced out. We're using 7cm bits of wood. The problem we ran into was that we didn't get timber that was thick enough. So where the timber needs to sit forward of the cabinets because of the doors, it meant that we didn't have enough between the cabinets to drill into. So I'm just currently wood gluing some extra blocks on the back so that we can use that to drill into. So if you're going to do this, get a block that's probably about 6-7 centimeters deep. Second problem is this switch here. I want to be able to use these plugs. However, I totally forgot that it was there and that we needed to do something about the cabinet that sits in front of it. So we have just ordered a electric box extender. So what we're going to do is take the front plate fascia off of it, terminate the cables so that it's not live, and then dangle the cables through. We're going to cut a little hole in here just to make sure it's all in the right sort of place. Then when we get the extender box, extend it and put the faceplate back on inside the cabinet. So that means we can actually use it as a plug inside the cabinet. We have managed to get the unit secured to the wall at the back. We've just used some L brackets just to make sure everything is nice and secure. We also have some wood spacers as well, just to make sure everything was spaced at the back as it should be at the front. Currently in the process of securing these wood batons. So these are also going to be on display and painted. Rather than covering them in MDF, we're just using the actual wood. I'm countersinking some holes and then going in with some gold screws. So all of these will be filled and painted later, so you can't see any of that. So it goes through the cabinet into the wood, and we're doing that for every single cupboard. Good morning. It is absolutely freezing cold today. Rob has been outside building our new table saw, circular table saw. Hopefully it's going to be good. It's just a budget one, and I've got some 2.5 hours to build. Got some mixed reviews online. However, we're only DIYers and we're just hoping it's going to help with some of these little jobs. So I'm actually going to bring in the worktop board. Get that on now. Oh, watch me. Damn. God damn.
25 centimetres too long, you mean?
No, short it should be.
No idea, it's way too long.
But it's only 2.7. Guys, I have had...
Baby brain strikes again.
I've had the biggest baby brain. I thought that this width was 3 meters, but it's 2.75. The board I bought was 2.79. So we actually need to take a little bit off of this, whereas I thought we had to add a bit on. So I bought 2. Honestly, not the worst issue to have, but my baby brain is scaring me. Yeah, let's get cutting and get that in place. Rob and I have just taken half an hour to discuss the Billy bookcases. So I've put the tape measure up the side here. Our Billy bookcases we bought are 200 centimetres high. However, we don't have 200 centimetres to spare from the top of the unit to the ceiling. We've got about 160. So we're going to have to trim our Billy bookcases. We've decided that we're going to trim from this end, but this is the floor end, because I don't want the shelving at the bottom. I want it to be open at the bottom. Just roughly estimated where our shelves are going to go. So we've got 2 structural shelves in the Billy bookcase that we're going to keep just to make sure it's actually secured properly. And that's this arrow here that you can see. That's going to be a strong shelf. The very top is going to be a strong shelf, and then we're going to have 2 shelves that you just slot in place. And then the bottom of it where it touches the unit is going to be open. We've got about 50 centimetres to the first shelf, 30 centimetres, 30 centimetres, 30 centimetres to the ceiling. We are now attaching the Billy bookcases. We cut them down last night, so they're only 155 instead of 202. That's for our personal measurements for our bespoke wall. Now what we're doing is, I didn't want them to sit right against the wall for us. You might want to. I wanted a bit of a spacer. So I'm adding this wood between the wall and the side of the Billy bookcase. But I need to attach it to the Billy bookcase first. I'm going to put in another 2 sets of screws. Just for reference, I'm using a countersink drill bit. It's a 3mm countersink drill bit with a 3mm drill bit. Wood drill bit makes it so much easier. And then I'm using the gold screw 3.5 by 3 mils. Just long enough to go into the wood. Could probably get longer screws, would be better. Probably only goes into the wood about that much. But this isn't bearing any weight, so I'm not too bothered. You can see the little L brackets at the top, so that means that it's not going to fall down, so we're quite happy with that. That's secure. So we're quite happy that that's secure. I will show you what I meant by the screw holes. They are quite deep at the minute, but I'm going to end up wood filling all of this, so I'll do that at the same time and then sand it down and then paint it, and you won't see any of that, so it'll give it that really bespoke look in the end. Right, we've got the second unit going up. Let's hope that it looks just as good on the side. The top shelf, what we were going to do, and we might still do if it doesn't work out, we were going to join the bottom shelf to the top of the shelf with a middle divider, and that was going to create some structure for the whole thing, whilst basically just resting the top of the shelf across the two bookcases. We've had to add some shims because we use the L bracket at the back, so it's created like a 1 centimetre gap or something like that, half a centimetre. Yeah, half, yeah. So that's what it looks like. And then just now we also created these batons. So they are going to be for the second shelf just to slide on. We saw this on an inspiration picture online on like the Cotswold company, one of their like pantry units or something. It actually looked quite nice when it was all painted the same colour, and it just makes it a bit easier rather than having to drill from the Billy bookcase into this really thin bit of wood. So actually this is going to sit on top and have proper structure. Nice.
Voila.
So that looks really good. However, I don't know if you can tell, very, 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 very slightly in the middle, there's a bow. Because this isn't like, I don't think it's actually made for shelving. I think it's for the side of furniture. So it's not a very strong chipboard or MDF. So what we're going to do is use 2 L brackets on the top side of the shelf, but you won't be able to see where they live. You just point where they're going to be, Rob.
Yeah, I'm going to go there and there.
So they're going to go roughly like that.
And then it's going to go...
It's going to pull the whole shelf up.
Making sure to avoid the electrics.
Yeah, and we're also going to secure it in the batons at the side as well, just with a couple of screws. Now, that shelf isn't going to be for heavy decor or anything. It's going to have such light stuff on it. So I think we'll just see how it goes and if we can remove the bow. But if we can't remove the bow, we will return to putting the middle shelf in, because the middle divider between the shelves in, because that will just create much more structure and lock it all together. All of the wood knots primed, we've got all of the backboard beaded panelling in, and everything's been sanded down. Rob's done such a good job. I'm hoping you might be able to see on the camera. Can you see the like scuffs and lines? That was just 180 grit sandpaper just to take everything down and back, so that when we start to prime up, the paint is going to stick really well. So yeah, really happy with that. That was a huge job that he did for me. So that's a huge job that Rob did last night, was sanding everything back. And you don't have to do this step, but with materials such as the IKEA melamine, which is basically like any shiny sort of material you get, you do want to scuff down and rough down the surface. So Rob's already sanded 180 with our base coat. I'm going to go in with the Zinza Bin primer. This is a really good paint. It's expensive, but it's a really good paint. After I've done that, I'm going to go in with a 240 grit sand, just really lightly scuff everywhere again. I just want to get rid of any paint bumps or lumps. But again, the key thing here is to scuff the area so that the next application of paint sticks better. Next application of paint being our actual paint. I'm going to do 2 layers of this. So again, in between layers, I'll go over with 240. It just gives such a seamless finish. Everything's really nice and smooth, and that you know that all of the paint is really sticking to each other rather than just sitting on top of each other in like loose layers. One thing that I want to say is, after I prime, especially because of the MDF boards that I've got there, I'm going to then go in with my caulk on all of the edges that needs to be filled. The reason being is you can caulk straight onto the green MDF beaded panel boards. They're very absorbent and they'll take all the moisture out of the caulk, so it won't sit exactly where you first put it. Over time it'll shrink because all of the moisture's gone and it'll crack and not look as good. Whereas if you prime everything first, then there's a bit of a barrier between the MDF and then the paint and then the caulk, so it sits better. I just don't want to have to retouch up anything in the coming, like, you know, future. Now, Rob and I have just caulked everything. So whilst that's drying, yesterday Rob cut, what was it, 36?
No, 16 buttons.
16.
36 cuts.
32 cuts.
Sorry, 32 cuts.
And they're going to be this lovely design trim. Oh, it looks so good. And I've got this really thick moulding. This is from Selco. It's pretty much the only dado rail that they do. And it's actually really cheap as well. Super, super cheap. So
£1.67 per metre.
That's such a good price. So we always go with this. It's the stuff that I've used on my stairs and in my bedroom. And it's also going to go in the baby nursery too. So just propping that on, going to get it all straight, and then probably use some pins to tack it in place. But I'm also using grab adhesive because that makes sure it really like sticks to the door, and then we'll caulk it, and then everything's going to get painted. We still have a couple of coats to do. I'm also painting some stuff on the floor, like the shelves, coving and skirting. So over the next couple of hours, all of that will be done. And then I have something very snazzy, which we've had to buy a new set of wood circle cutters for. We're going to be drilling 60cm holes to put these in. I don't know if you've seen something like this before. They're kind of like the ones you get at work in an office where they're able to put the cables through, but it just tidies everything up. So I'm going to drill a hole in the bottom right corner, same on the left, and pop that in, and that means that we can get to the plug which is inside this cupboard. But yeah, I thought these would be great, so I've got 2 of these. Hopefully they work out. Okay, I went a little bit too in with that thing. I was hoping that the whole 2 surfaces were going to come through in one, so I kept pushing it. I shouldn't have really done that. So I'm just going to roll it and then I'll paint around it later. But I just want to show you spraying. Yeah, look at that. Oh, that's amazing. And then we can pop the whole thing out. Pop the whole thing back in. Oh, I'm chuffed with that. That looks great. Oh, isn't she a beauty? I am really chuffed with how this has turned out. I feel like The IKEA hack just works. Everything looks really good. It looks custom, built in, bespoke for this space. It fits edge to edge, ceiling to floor. And we managed to get the TV on yesterday as well, which is perfect. Even Rob said, I thought you were doing too much when you added the beaded paneling behind and it didn't need it, but actually it does really add a bit of difference to the whole place. So really happy that we went with that extra detail. We obviously have so much storage in these units. Guys, you're gonna have to tell me, I don't know if I want to put handles on them or not, because so they open out like this, but because this moulding that I put on them is so thick, it's basically a handle. And the reason I maybe don't want to put handles on them is because the way that I squared off the moulding in this, it would mean that the handle has to go like here, which feels really close to the edge of the door. So I kind of like how it looks without, but also actually I feel like the brass handles will just give it that little touch what it needs. So that's it. We've managed to complete the TV media wall. I hope that we've given you some inspiration. If you have any questions, do leave them down below. I will try and get back to them. If you see in the back, it looks like there's a bit of chaos going on there. I'm about to start filming for my baby shower because she's coming soon. So that's why I really wanted to get this built and done quickly. So I'm really impressed with us that we managed to do it in like 4 or 5 days. Hope that you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. Follow me over on TikTok and Instagram. But yeah, cheers for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye.